All right, so recently we more or less kind of got confirmation on a long running theory about Blackbeard and how it ties into the overall story and more in depth into him as a character, which was revealed in chapter 966, which means that we're going to be talking about that in this video. So if you're not up to date with the manga and you don't want to be spoiled, I suggest you check out now. So in chapter 966, we see in Odin's flashback the Whitebeard pirates and the Roger pirates meet up. And at this point, we're seeing for the first time a young Blackbeard and a young Shanks and Buggy are meeting. Now, when they do first meet, Buggy says to Shanks that you see that guy over there wearing the hat, referring to Blackbeard. He says, I heard that he didn't sleep a wink during the ceasefire last night or the night before. They say he's never slept in his life. So this is the straw that broke the camel's back, because this is pretty much confirming the long-standing theory that I was talking about. And this theory started, I think it started when we first saw a young Blackbeard after Oda illustrated all of the warlords. And in the picture, we saw Blackbeard like crying, looking up at a moon, and people kind of just put two and two together and assumed that, oh, this means that he is incapable of sleeping. But further examining the picture, we can see that there's snow at Whitebeard's feet. So the moon and the snow are obviously purposeful by Oda because he does everything for a reason. So the snow is going to give us more insight into where this is all headed. So let us go back 832 chapters, pretty much, when we're going back to Drum Island, which, further shows that this has all been set up for a very long time. So, in the very first instance of Blackbeard being mentioned in the series is by Dalton when he's talking to Usopp and Vivi. And he explains that the Drum Kingdom was attacked by the Blackbeard pirates and pretty much destroyed, and that's where Wappo left and everything like that. So that's kind of planting the seed of Blackbeard being tied to Drum Kingdom in some way. But we also know that Drum Kingdom, Drum Island, is always filled with snow, and it's always snowing there, and that goes back to the snow at Blackbeard's feet. So let's go deeper, because shortly after Dalton explains the whole Blackbeard incident, we see Luffy talking to Sanji as he has Nami on his back, and he says, did you know that people in snowy countries don't sleep? Because if they do, they'll die. And then Sanji says, who did you hear that from? And Luffy says, a guy in a bar. So this is the most important piece of info that's going to tie everything together here. And it's just crazy that Oda had planted this so far back, because I remember when I originally read this or just saw it in the anime, and I just thought it was just a throwaway line, just Luffy being funny or something, because they had it back and forth prior to this. But no, this is actually pretty important backstory on the main villain of the series, because that's saying it right there. People in snowy countries don't sleep, because if they do, they'll die. And we just see in the current chapter of 966 that it's confirming that Blackbeard doesn't sleep, and it's because he comes from the Drum Kingdom. And why they don't sleep because they'll die, I assume it means because they'll freeze to death or something like that. I don't think there's any deeper meaning to it than that. I mean, there could be, but considering that it's snowy countries, maybe it has something to do with the extreme weather. And now that we kind of have confirmation that Blackbeard came from Drum Island, that explains his incentive for wanting to attack that place, because I don't think it was just a random attack and he just did it because he's a bad guy. I think it was probably premeditated, considering that it was also confirmed in chapter 965 that he was an orphan when he was picked up by the Whitebeard pirates. So I assume that maybe he was mistreated there or something like that. I'm assuming that that's probably why he went back there and just wrecked the place, to get revenge for how he was treated as a kid. And I'm sure this will all be further explained and everything once we get to the backstory and the flashback that we're gonna get inevitably once the story gets to him fighting Luffy, I assume, somewhere around there. Now, also another interesting thing that we see in chapter 965 is that in the panel before a young Blackbeard is picked up, we see the Whitebeard pirates congregating and talking about setting up the divisions. But if you look in the background, you can see that they're like in a snowy environment with mushrooms and stuff. So this could be them either on Drum Island or close to it, considering that the climate that they're in is snowy. And then as we see Blackbeard in the follow-up panel, this could all also mean that, you know, he's coming from Drum Island. And then to wrap this all up, let's go back to the last thing that Luffy said to Sanji about the heard it from a guy in a bar. Well, I think we could assume that this is very likely to be Shanks because, you know, that's like their whole thing, them talking in the bar and everything. And it's revealed in Chapter 966 that Shanks is indeed finding out this info about Blackbeard. And then I assume later on he kind of connects the dots and finds out that Blackbeard came from Drum Island. So therefore, he eventually tells Luffy, not directly that it's Blackbeard, but just that people in snowy countries, aka Drum Island, don't sleep because if they do, they'll die. Which is just further showing us that Oda has been playing 7D chess for the better part of 2 decades now. And it's all been set up this whole entire time, which is just truly incredible. This is like a one-of-a-kind experience when it comes to... manga, honestly, and I'm just dumbfounded by how this all perfectly fits together. It's just so cool. But that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Let me know what you thought about this one. And if you liked the video, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon, gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you